I haven't eaten in 4 days, so let's get it. Are you not entertained? It's pretty primal right here. Catching piranhas and catfish, hacking heads off. I gotta do what I gotta do.
That was a sneak peek from the latest episode of Naked and Afraid. And this season, a contestant with strong Texas ties is set to appear on your screen. But before he bears it all, Sunday, we had to hear from him first. So Laredo-born MMA fighter and stand-up comic Justin Governale joins us live from San Antonio with more about his wild experience. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Were you afraid to be naked?
I mean, not, I don't know. I've always been that guy.
Okay, obviously you wouldn't be on the show if you were afraid to be naked. So for people who aren't familiar with it, what is the premise? What's the purpose of the show?
Okay, so what they do is you pretty much skip 15 years of marriage and you're paired with somebody that you can't stand, naked and in the wild. No, I'm joking. You pretty much, you're challenged for 21 days. You're given one tool, which I cannot reveal what the tool is until it airs. And you just live. In this case, I was in Guyana and I had a partner from New Mexico, never met each other. Pretty serious about not knowing each other. They make you face away and then they're like, ready, boom. And you both strip down and I'm like, hey, good to meet you. And we have to be a team and try and survive in the jungle for 21 days with one tool.
I can think of all kinds of lines that I'm not going to use right now. But tell us, how did competing on Naked and Afraid become a reality for you? Did you lose a bet? Did you want to do it?
I actually had a friend of mine who was also a scout sniper in the Marine Corps, and he did it. He crushed it in Colombia. His name is Zach Benton. He's also in Texas. Super good friend of mine, and he called me and he said, hey man, I've reached out to a bunch of other humans that nobody wants to do it. Would you be willing to, at least apply for the show? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I applied, went through a series of interviews, and by the time you know it, I got selected. They sent me a plane ticket, very short notice, and they're like, yes or no, do you want to do this? And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, let's do it. And to be honest, it was a lot more real than I anticipated, right? And you learn stuff in the military and in the Marine Corps, but I guess nothing can really compare to somebody just handing you a tool and being like, all right, go.
All right, so you mentioned the military. You definitely don't shy away from challenges. You're a stand-up comic. You served as a Marine Scout sniper. You're a Purple Heart recipient, a dog rescue advocate, an MMA fighter, jiu-jitsu black belt. I think that's it. I think I covered it all. Have you always been that guy? Were you that kid who would jump at any challenge?
If I'm being honest, nobody's asked me that yet on any media, right? But if I'm being honest, I was the guy that they would say, Governale, everybody's always called me Governale. Will you do this? I bet you won't. I bet you won't. And I'd be like, oh, you don't think I'll do it? Right? And then it got to the point where I would say like, oh, you don't think I'll do this? And people would say, I know we all know that you're going to do it. And I'd be like, say I won't do it, right? And that's just kind of how I live. I feel like, at the end of the day, we're all going to die, right? And if you don't embrace experiences on your deathbed, you're just going to remember typing behind a desk your entire life and not embracing anything. And so, yeah, that's why I said yes to the challenge.
So I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you about your mental attitude. So that's what it is. It's like you've got in your mind, we're all going to go eventually. I have this long to live here, so I'm going to embrace the whole thing. So how did you prepare for this particular thing mentally or physically? Was there preparation before you did the show?
You're gonna laugh. For me, what I did was I just trained a bunch of jiu-jitsu, right? And jiu-jitsu, it's so humbling, right? Like you think that you're on top of the world, you start feeling good about yourself, your career's going great, and you show up and someone just beats you up, and you're like, so you drive home with the radio off, right? And that's what I did. It just mentally gets you in the state to realize that you are not the strongest human on the planet, but that you are a strong human, right? And so I just trained a ton of jiu-jitsu.
So anything other than learning that you are strong, anything new that you learned about yourself?
Yeah. What I had to do out there was cut out anything that did not serve me. So I miss my dogs, but then I had to mentally just say, missing your dogs doesn't put fish in your stomach. Crying doesn't put fish in your stomach. So you have to cut out everything. And what I thought about was I had a circle of friends and all everybody would do was kind of party and stuff. And I just kind of realized that when you're at your most primal state, you have to cut out things that do not serve you. So I got out and I just started cutting out things left and right, and my whole life improved, right? So that's pretty much my biggest learning lesson out there.
That's fascinating. Where can people find you?
At Justin Governale on Instagram and Twitter, JJ Governale on TikTok, and JJ Governale on YouTube.
Okay, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. Very interesting. Way to make Texas proud. Naked and Afraid airs Sundays at 7 Central on Discovery. It's available to stream on the same day on Discovery.